Back to our breaking news out of Bessemer, a surprising turn as the Board of Education there has apparently been suspended.
Yeah, the board had been working to get back on track ever since the state took over. In July of 2024, the school board approved a resolution that allowed the state take over Bessemer City Schools. That after state superintendent sent the board a letter that outlined problems with the district's finances, facilities, the way it governed hiring and learning. The very next month, the state board approved the vote, deciding to do just that.
Fast forward to September of last year, Bessemer held its first regular Board of Education meeting after the state took over the school system. Then in November, the state superintendent told us that significant improvement had been made and that he didn't see the state intervention lasting 5 or 6 years.
Our WVTM 13 Zoe Blair is joining us live in Bessemer this evening. She is following the story closely for us tonight.
What have you learned?
Guy, Brittany, I have spoken with several people today. I just got off the phone with one of the board members who have been suspended. She sent me these emails. It's Margie Varner. She's the board member for District 5, and there have been a lot of correspondences between her and the Board of Education, or the state board, Dr. Mackey and Dr. Boyd, since this has happened. She tells me that they were suspended indefinitely and not given a reason why. The local teachers union, I actually spoke with someone there who also told me that they went to go to the board meeting Tuesday night and it just did not happen. There was nobody there. They did not realize that it was not going to happen. Now, I want to read you one of these emails. Dr. Varner reached out to Dr. Boyd earlier this week to find out why they were suspended. She said, Dr. Boyd, I am seeking clarification on the meaning of the suspension and what alleged actions you deemed to be extreme and or egregious. She goes on to ask if they would please provide all documentation, reports, or evidence. In response, State Superintendent Dr. Eric Mackey says, Dear Ms. Varner, nothing of the sort is required, nor will it be provided. Now, I spoke with Erica Hughes, the president of the Central Alabama American Federation for Teachers earlier this evening, and she tells me that this is extremely frustrating and she doesn't understand the reason why.
There is no reason, because they have completed everything that COGNIA has asked them to do. So, you know, at the end of the day, it's like Dr. Boyd is upset because they are not rubber stamping everything that he wants to be done. But they are elected officials and they have the right to challenge and question things that are being done or said.
Now, less than 5 minutes ago, I got off the phone with somebody from the State Board of Education's office. They tell me that before this suspension happened, they spoke with each of the board members, but he could not confirm a reason why, and they did not give me a reason why this has happened. Now, coming up at 5 o'clock, we'll take a deeper dive into these emails and give you some more information about some of the reasons that we were told that they may have been suspended. For now, live in Birmingham, Zoe Blair, WVTM 13.